So the AI tools are currently trending in everywhere. If you search for images, there is MidJourney. If you need to get some answers, something, there's ChatGPT. And I thought, let's give it a try and see what we can do with this AI tools when it comes to web development. So as you can see, this images, they have all been generated using AI. It's just you add a prompt and then they generate something for you. So let's look at how we could use it. So simply you go to midjourney.com and it is going to ask you to log in. All you need is a Discord account. If you have a Discord account, you could just authorize it and you will be able to um, start using their server. So essentially, when you log in, this is what you're going to see. You could use one of the newbie rooms to start adding prompts and generate some amazing designs for you. Now I have a paid plan with them. I had been using them a lot and I really love their product. So I get this some more rooms which are locked to and only available to paid programs. But if you are using trial version, simply go to newbies room and just type in and you could get some amazing results. So I'm going to just use this room and let me show you how you could use this. So you go by starting with imagine, and then once you type in imagine, you're going to get a prompt, and in this prompt you could type in anything you want. Let's say you need pictures of Spider-Man or Batman or anything, literally. What I thought was, why not let's just create a product page using the design provided by MidJourney. So I'm just going to type in UI UX design of a product landing page. you know you could add multiple more comments to it. Let's say you want the color to be color must be black, etc, etc. I'm just going to leave that as it is. I'm just going to add probably page structured, detailed, and probably realistic. And yeah, let's just see what it shows up. So once you hit enter, it's going to start soon. Normally this doesn't take long, probably maximum of I think 1 or 2 minutes. While this is being generated, let's look at some of the results others are creating. So you see he wrote celestial being putting middle finger up, mirror towering over shadows of body sacred geometry. So all this, they have generated some of these amazing images. Let's look at how realistic this looks and some of this. So probably mine is ready. Yeah, so as you can see, they already generated an amazing product page for us. Probably these two are not the best example, but this could be an amazing product page. Even this, if it's if it's full screen size, so this could also be amazing design. So basically that's how you use MidJourney. Now, like I said, I had already been using it for some time and I have gotten a few results, and I have decided to use this. So if I go into my home and then click on this, so in this video we are going to recreate this product page and have ChatGPT do all the content for us, like title, product description, whatnot with it. So yeah, so that's about it. So let's get started with the development. Okay, so let's start by creating a new React app. So I'm just gonna type in npx create React app, and let's give it a title as product page. This shouldn't take that long. It's almost like maximum of 2 minutes, I would say. Once the React app is installed, let's start by opening up our VS Code. So for me, I just do code dot, and that opens up a VS Code instance. And as you can see, this is already in the specific folder, and the app.js is opened up already. So we can, just run the app itself, and let's see how it looks. So do npm start. Once I do this should, as you can see, this is currently the default page of React. So we don't need any of this, so we're just going to remove all of it. We're going to remove all the imports here too. And the very first thing that we're going to do is just add Tailwind CSS. So let's just go to tailwindcss.com and let's look at their framework guide. Since I'm using Create React App, just going to use the Create React App and follow the instructions. So I've already created a project, so next step is to install this. So since I'm already running a React instance here, so I'm not just gonna touch this. Rather, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new terminal within the VS Code and just do the installation here. So this was done. Next step is to initialize the file. So let's initialize it. And as you can see, a Tailwind config file was generated. So let's just copy this step. So copy this section only. Here you go, and copy all of this and paste it on your index.css file. So I'm going to remove everything here, just paste this. And now in order to make sure the Tailwind is running, we actually need to close this and restart it. So if you're using Mac, you could just do Control-C. If you're Windows, it should be Control-C as well. Let's just do npm start. And it is running successfully. So let's just test that this works. Let's just add a p tag, and let's just say this is a test, and add a class name of text grade 500. So as you can see, the Tailwind is running successfully. So that's a good start. Now let's look at what we're going to do. So the idea here is that we decided to recreate this product page with best of our ability. So honestly, it's pretty simple, but I just found the design to be, something different than a normal product page, I suppose. So at first what I did was, I downloaded this image and I just cropped this part of it, and using a website called remove.background, I just uploaded it here, and this got me this beautiful only the product section of it. So you could just download it and save it in a folder. What I did was I downloaded it and added it to my asset folder so that I could use it. We should do so. This is the image that I have, which I'll be using in this tutorial. So once that is done, we could get started with creating the first let's start with this. So let's just start with the navbar, which should be fairly easy from what I could see. So let's remove this. Let's just give this a class name of let's just start with background white at start, and then we can move to adding different color. Or yeah, that should do it. So let's just create the navbar. So we can do a header, or you could literally do another div. It's up to you. It's just doesn't change anything, because with Tailwind it's utility based. So as long as you're adding all the class name, it should work just fine. So as you can see, this has 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm going to create a grid of 6 column, and then um, have enough spaces for them and make sure they're center. So this should be easy. So it's just grid with a grid calls of 6, and let's do mx auto. That means margin left and right auto, which should center it, and then also text center. And yeah, so let's just try how it looks. Let's just do home 6 times. Let's see what shows up. 5 6. As you can see, it already starts to look like somewhere like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to also add a utility called divide, and then just do divide x. So this should give me, not sure if it's visible, that should give me something like a divider among all of them. And once we have that, the other thing that we should be doing is probably have some margin here, because this is too close. So yeah, let's first do some py, which is padding top and bottom of 2.5. So this will do, it will create a gap between the divider and here as well. So that already looks better. And now if I just add a shadow, it should start to look something like this. Although this doesn't necessarily has a shadow, rather I would say a border bottom, but it kind of looks good this way too. So I suppose we could use this as well. Now the only other thing is there's a huge gap here as well. So let's just add more padding to it. Just do class name py -2. Now it already looks better, so let's copy this and paste it here 6 times. So now they look more centered and they look better. So let's just quickly rename them. Let's just add products, rewards, gifts, location, and mission. Honestly, these are all the title that I could find. If you want to do something else, go crazy, it's up to you. I just thought in this demonstration this would be easier way to go into. So, and that actually completes our header section already. Now let's start with the second part, this part. Okay, so let's create the main section, which is this part of the image. So essentially what how I look at it is that this is basically one grid and this is the other grid. So I usually like to separate each section as a grid, so that way it makes me easier to style it or have control over it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to create 2 grid and then add contents to it. So let's do that. So at first let's just import this image. So I'm just going to import it as main. I'd like to call it as main, and then it's located on .asset main.png. So once that is imported, let's just create 2 grids. So first of all, let's create a div, and they give a class name of grid, then grid column 2, and the other stuff that we can add is text start and tracking wider. We could do that later. So right now we have two grid, and I made sure the text, they are always at the start and not at the center or anywhere. So let's work on this side, the first grid. So it should be fairly simple. All you do is just create a div and then insert the div, just create a new image tag and then add the source to it. So the source here would be the main. So once you do that, you could already see that the image is added. So we might need to style this later, so I'm just going to do it right now. So I just do justify center, so this way it's more centered within this entire grid. And let's just add a height. So what I would like to do is I would like to give it a height of 36 rem, and yeah, so that should make it smaller, which works at least for this tutorial, because we're going to add a few stuff here and then here as well, and rest of the content should go around here. Now before I move on, I think I should change the background color right away. So it's not really white, it's like a gradient that's going from white to somewhere in between green. So after doing some research, I could find these are the colors that they are probably using. So let's just see how we could add a gradient. So you just do bg gradient to r. R here means it's going towards the right. As you can see, basically what this does is just creating a background image, linear gradient to right. And then we have to specify from where. So these are the colors that we're going to use. So it's F7, F6, EF, and we just need to add 2, and over here we just add CFD2B7. Once I add it, as you can see, it already looks similar to the color we have. Now there is a problem. Since this image has a height of 36 rem, it's just only showing up to this side. This is probably because the image is actually has a whole length until this. So what I can do to fix this is just simply add minimum height of screen. So this will make sure it has the entire color on the whole page, and just like that we could see the changes here. Now the only other thing that I should be doing here is that should be good. That should be good with this part of it. And the other part is that now since I created 2 grid, this is the first grid, I would have another grid here, and in this grid what I'm going to do, I'm going to immediately add it as flex, and then flex column, and I will have a maximum width of screen, and it should be medium. It's up to you if you want to change anything here. And then let's do justify center, space y8, and then PR, which is padding right of 4. So once I do that, I'm going to first add a header, and then maybe a subheader, and then some content. Now this is where I thought maybe why not use the other AI tool, the ChatGPT, to generate some ideas. So I had been playing with it for some time, so let me just show you how it works. So You go into chat.openai.com, and once you log in, you're going to have a few prompts. If you had previously used it, then it's going to show up here. If not, then it just should be brand new. So what you do is you just click new chat and then tell them what you want. So by looking at this image, it looks like it's a jar of Nutella. So I'm thinking maybe just ask him to give me some alternative name of Nutellas. So let's just use ChatGPT and see what he tells us. So give me 10 alternative brand names of Nutella. So once I hit enter, he is already giving me all the answers. So I like chocolate hazelnut bliss, so let's just go with this. So we're going to create a new header that has the name chocolate, what is it called, chocolate hazelnut bliss. So let's just give a p tag of chocolate hazelnut bliss, and as you can see, it's going more towards center, but it should be fixed automatically once we add up the other content. So I just gave it a text of 5 XL, and yeah, that looks bigger and better. Now let's add a sub title. So let's just do text 3 XL and italic, and let's just type in locally sourced. so this looks like we're going somewhere. And now the tough part is to sometimes write content about a product, right? So let's just ask ChatGPT to give us some product description. Give me 5 paragraph of product description. But if I could spell it right, Nutella. Okay. So as you can see, ChatGPT is amazing at creating this content. So I really love using ChatGPT, and I've been using them for a long time. As stuffs like this could be really hard to figure out and write something on your own, but with ChatGPT things are becoming easier. So I already like the first one. Nutella is delicious and creamy hazelnut that is loved by all ages. So we are going to copy this to let him finish it first. Alright, so we are going to copy this, just add it here, and this time going to give it a, I don't need to add anything because it's going to have a default text. So this is probably the first paragraph, a smaller one, and then there's a bigger one. So we could literally just add 2 paragraphs together here. So instead of using Nutella, I'm just going to use chocolate hazelnut bliss here. So that way it makes it more unique. And for the last one, I'm going to copy this and this. Then change the name here as well. Here as well, and here as well. So now it is starting to look very similar to this, except for the fact that the fonts used is different here, and probably the color as well. So let's start by fixing the font. So what I did was I found a font that might be similar. I don't know, but I think this is as close as it gets. So if you go into Google Font and search for Alumni Sans, this is what you're going to get. All you have to do is just copy this link first and then make sure you paste it at the public and index.html file. You could do it anywhere, on top of header. So it's going to add this link, and the only other thing that you're going to have to do is just add this as your font family. So how we could do this is we have to go into Tailwind config file, go into themes, and just type in font family : and this bracket. Make sure you could literally have any name you want. I'm just going to do display, and then just copy I don't need the font family, I just need this part, and make sure this is also in quotes or else it won't work. And then if you just save it and change the title, let's try with the title to font display. As you can see, it already changed the header, right? So instead of using it here, let's just use it on the entire content here. So I'm just going to do font display. Now this looks a lot similar. I wouldn't say the same, I would say similar to what it is here. So yeah, and now I think I probably should be making this text a little bit bigger. So I should probably add, instead of, let's add 2 text to let's just do text large. Okay, now it looks a lot better. The only other thing that doesn't look right is the color. So again, from my research, these are the colors that I think they're using. So I'm just going to copy and paste this color in the entire app. So let me just, so at the very top of the div, if I just add the color here, that is 354305, it should apply to all the text we have, not the navbar one, because navbar is okay. Yeah, sorry, it's going to apply to navbar as well. So yeah, it applied to navbar as well as this one. So this looks a lot better. However, I think with adding the background, the divider looks kind of like it's not available here. So what I'm going to do is change the color of divider as well. So let's just do divide, and then actually what we could do is we could do gray 400. So it looks slightly better. So we could also do 50%, so looks more like this. Yeah, I think this looks more similar to the image, so that's good. Now let's work on the last part. Okay, let's start working on the last section, which is this part. I'm probably going to not add this because it's not clear, but let's see, we can add something here as well. So we'll work on this section first. Again, going back to our app. So far I created a grid that displays this section and this section. I'm going to do the same for here as well. Like I love to do grids on web pages because it makes me easier to style them. So again, I'm going to create two grids, one for this side and one for this side. So let's just add a div and let's just give it a class name of grid, and we are going to do grid column 2. Now let's work on the first one. So as you can see, this has a first header and probably some content here, so it shouldn't be that hard. So we could just do, in this div we could do a flex, and then we're going to set the direction to column. Then we're going to have items at center, and then probably some padding. That's okay, we don't need any padding. So first we call this the chocolate hazelnut bliss, so let's just add that here, and you can see it shows up right here. So the only other thing maybe I could do is add a text Excel. It's slightly bigger, yeah, looks a bit better. Now let's think how we could create this section. So essentially this is just it has two grids. I mean, I would say three column and 2 rows of grids. So we're just going to create something like that. Now again, I'm going to create grid here as well. So let's just do grid column and 3 this time, and we want some gap here, so let's just do padding 2 and a fixed width of 96, which would mean 384 pixel or 24 rem. Now in this div we are going to have a flex column, items center, then padding of 2. So why I did a flex? So it's because they are on top of each other. So I am going to have items here. So let me just show you how this would look like. So if I just do a P of sugar and then a P of 10 grams, let's say, so it would start to look something like this. The only other thing that I forgot is that I should be adding a border here. So now it looks like it has a border around. So and let's change the text to smaller, as that's how it's displayed in the image. And maybe padding, that should be fine with the padding. So now I'm going to replicate this in 3 times. So copy this twice, 3 times. So now it is starting to look somewhere along the line of this. So we are going to create this part now, and for this again it's the same idea. This time I'm going to copy this entirely and just paste it here. Now there is a gap around, so which I don't want, and this is simply because there is a padding top added here. So if I just remove this, they're going to get added together. So now it looks more like this. Probably this here has more gap, so we can add that. It shouldn't be too bad. So let's just do py4 And let's just, instead of having all sugar, let's just add some content here. So I could do whole milk, maybe, I don't know, 40 ounce, and then chocolate 30 gram, and maybe syrup 5 gram, espresso 2 shots, and maybe cream of 30 grams. So now it looks a lot better. Like, it looks like it is indeed a real product. And yeah, so this part is pretty much it. The only difference is they added this the header at the start. I just thought maybe it would be best I add it in the center. I just find this way a lot better, but it's entirely up to you. You could change it. Now let's work on this side, which shouldn't be that hard as well. So remember, I created a grid of column 2, and then this was the first part. This was the entire part here. So it's going to hide this and then just create a new div here. This way I understand where it stopped and where it's starting. So this is so there are multiple ways we could create this triangle. I'm just going to give a div and then just add the color and probably write something here like checkout, and then add an icon. Maybe we could ignore this because I don't see why there's a dot here, but that's okay. So to start, just create a class with the background of, we could do 242C07, 242C07, and then have a full width, and let's just add flex and justify around. So now inside here, we're going to first have checkout. Now you can see with adding with full, it is giving us a full button, like full length of this side button. So that's cool. Now I should probably change here the size of text to 3XL, and maybe a text color to ACA F9C, so it looks a lot clearer. And I should have the tracking widest here, so this will give it more spacing within the name here. So looks a bit better. The other thing that I could add is the icon. So if you want, you could just download a PNG and then just add it here, or you could just search for React icons. And with React icons, it's really simple to use, and they have so many icons. So just going to use React icons. So I'm going to do is just copy this installation code again and then paste it here. So once that is installed, so let's look at checkout icon. So this looks like the one we're looking for. So it's very easy to use. You just do import and then the icon name and just do from and do React icons, and then the first part of this icon name, it starts with the initial word this is from. So since this shows IO, I'm just going to do IO and save it and then try using it here. So this is how you use it. You just paste this and then just close it. So if I do this, okay, I'm getting an error. So exported imported was not found here. Okay, so probably they have something else. So it could be that they released a new version and it's just called IO5. So let's try this, and just like that, it started working it. Now it's not really visible. So let's try changing the color. We'll use the same color here. So now it is visible, although it doesn't look right. So let's just add a size property to it and let's just do 35. Now this looks a lot better. And I feel like there should be padding around, so let's just do PY4. Yeah, now it looks a lot better. There's some space from the top as well and bottom. To 6. No, 6 is too much. Let's just stick with 4. So, and that's about it. That's the checkout section. Now the last part, we could add some more content here. Let's do it. So this was the grid, and this is where it started, or yeah, more specifically, this is where this entire grid started. So I'm going to create a div here as well, then just do a P of, let's just say, discounted rate only at 35. So it doesn't look great, it's look too congested, so let's just add a few padding. So let's just do padding top 4. So yeah, immediately it looks a lot better. And let's just add another paragraph and say this offer is, I'm just going to copy this from the one that I already did. So there you go. So this looks more like somewhere like this, but not exactly. So we could change up a bit, maybe add py of 4 here as well. So yeah, now they're separated. Maybe add some more spacing here as well. And we don't need this text to be this big, so just do text XS. So yeah, that should do it. And the only other thing that I should probably mention, you see that how this text are going all the way in here but not over here. This is probably because I have added a padding right here, so it's just omitting this section. So we're going to add this here as well. So let's just do padding right of 2, and that should just send it the text to the next line. So looks much more cleaner in my opinion. So, and honestly, that's about it. That's what I wanted to show, like, you know, how you could utilize AI tools such as MidJourney to create a design and then, you know, generate some content using ChatGPT and then put it all together in this website or in any website you want. So really, I know this isn't the best example. Probably this page is not even responsive. Like, see, it doesn't look great at all. But the idea is that I wanted to show the possibilities with these tools coming up. Like, you could literally do a lot of stuff. Like MidJourney is amazing. I had been using them a lot. I have a paid plan with them, and they are an amazing tool to use, and I had been generating a lot of product pages, or designs, or anything you want. So the possibilities are endless. So I would suggest you guys give it a try. They're free to use, and see what you can achieve. And for me, that's about it. That's just what I wanted to create in this video. I'm thinking of creating a new series where I generate new designs from MidJourney and then try to code them with React and Tailwind, or maybe other frameworks. So if you guys like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this, so that I would be encouraged to create more content like this. That's all for today.